Couple big changes to notice right away. The first one being that the map is now on the top side, swapped with the log. There's little buttons that appear now too, so you can very quickly use. Now you can at least see all the stats. There might be additions or removals. Some of them are not necessarily going to stay. Just testing, test. Okay. Hello. Hi. It has been a bit, hasn't it? Quite a few more months than I wanted it to be, but that's all right. I do apologize. It's been so late. I have news about darkegg. Finally, here we are. Good and bad news. The first and most important news is that we are still here and we are still working on it. We haven't gone anywhere, right? Just been dark a little bit. Bad news first, though, is that darkegg is going to be delayed. It's probably going to be delayed till the end of the year. We weren't fully sure how long, but this is what we're thinking now. And this is largely due to my own mistake. I forgot about editing for the most part, and darkegg as it is largely... I mean, it's a novel, right? It's kind of reached novel size, actually, in terms of like word count and whatnot. And for anyone who's written a novel, like the editing process is largely where the story actually comes out. It's where you're able to really nail down themes, foreshadowing, make everything cohesive, right? And I just kind of didn't really include that. That was a big mistake on my part. And so we realized that, there isn't any time for editing. It was around like early October or so when we were talking about this. And we realized like it seemed like we were on track to actually releasing the game. It seemed possible. We probably would have been a little bit overworked. It would have been rushed. But just in terms of like write down the stuff, grammar edit, right, get into the game, problem solved. That was kind of where we were at with that. That's kind of where we figured like, okay, we could do it. I think it would have been very disappointing though, overall. I think the game would have felt kind of half-assed. And the reality is when we were talking about that, the question was it more important to get the game out on time or actually make the game really good? And we decided, well, actually, we really wanted to make sure darkegg was something that for the people who played it would be something they wouldn't forget in a good way. So it was a pretty unanimous decision of, no, we'd rather just delay it. And so we did. That was the first delay. Then as we went, well, some other things changed and we decided, actually, no, we really want this to be a great game. The time it will take to make this a great game is going to be quite a bit longer. So we decided, no, we will continue to delay. So on that note, there's been some pretty huge reshapes to the game overall. So a side note being that you will have to start over again. Saves originally were going to be transferable, and that's not true anymore. The demo will probably be completely overhauled as well. As it is right now, it's fine, but when the game comes out, we'll probably release a brand new demo that better reflects the game because a lot of things are changing. You'll probably want to start over again anyway, because I think it's actually quite good. It's much better than it was before, but just a small thing to understand. We're also adding even more content, by the way, for what it's worth. That's why it's bigger. Some of the stuff, I'll give a hint. I don't want to spoil anything, but some of the stretch goals on Kickstarter are going to be implemented anyway, after all. Originally, they were kind of more just like secondary things, and now we've decided, no, actually, for what the game is, these things are too cool not to add, and kind of too important not to add either. So they will be going in there as well. You can look out for some of that stuff too. That's the situation. That's the current reality of where darkegg is right now. I'm very thankful for all of you for being so patient. I'm thankful for everyone who's supported us and will continue to support us, whether it's financially or just through your time, just through being part of the community. I am really grateful for all of that. And I hope you are still looking forward to darkegg, because I certainly am. I think it's going to be a great, great experience. I think we can offer something pretty weird. And also, I'm excited for what comes after, because I think we've got even more stuff coming up after darkegg too. But that's the situation. Anyway, I didn't want to show up here empty-handed though, so I do have some other things here. I also have some updates that aren't too spoilery, some UI stuff, some UI changes. Right, so here we are. First of all, a couple big changes to notice right away. The first one being that the map is now on the top side, swapped with the log. This is mainly because the map, with how much interactivity it has, we wanted to give it even more presence than before. And we're also trying to optimize as much space for it as possible. We've moved the story buttons over here. Works the same as before. The saving now is over where the save icon is as well. You've got your bars just like before, gold status, you got a little level indicator, choices also on the side here. All this is also fully dynamic too, so you can control the window size completely, and it will also update for you. I mean, this is a little bit hefty, but that's something you can obviously control then too with these working the same way they did before. Something else that's also pretty nice too is that all of the different menus have animations now. So you get a nice little zoom in right there. Options basically work exactly the same as before, not too many differences here, nothing to really worry about. But they are designed, this is designed now to offer a lot more potential extension later on, so that we should be able to have plenty of options in the future. This can scroll, for instance, although there's not enough things for that to be necessary yet. We've got the skills that work just as before. Nothing has really changed here, except now we've got a stat list that is a lot more clear for you to give you a big scroll bar. You can now scroll back and forth. This is not necessarily all the stats, although now you can at least see all the stats. There might be additions or removals. Some of them are not necessarily going to stay, but with that in mind, you can now see them all. It's not just these 6 stats that I gave you beforehand. We then have the inventory over here. We've got all the different things you can scroll down just like before. There's little buttons that appear now too, so you can very quickly use any things you want to use. It's all context sensitive. A little sorting buttons as well to go and see exactly what you have currently at any step. Same stat list as the skills, so you can see what's being changed if you do equip things as you go. And last but not least, we have the saves menu. And I mean, nothing's really changed. This is probably the least changed out of all of them. It works exactly as before, but the one big difference just being that now you have a lot of saves. I think this will be enough for most people. I just decided I'll give you 100 and call it a day. So, that's the only real change here. And those are the UI changes. I wanted to try to make sure I had something cool to show here, although it's difficult because the coolest things are things that I really don't want people to be seeing just yet. As it is, it's a bit of a challenge because we obviously want to be letting you guys know where we're at, but if we give too much information about what's coming, then of course we spoil the story. So to some degree, that is kind of why updates might be a bit more sparse. It's something that we do want to let you guys at least know that we are here and we are working on this, right? We have not gone anywhere and we are still plugging away, but it's just not, kind of playing closer to the chest now, of course. But yeah, I hope you guys will be very excited about what's coming on the horizon.